So Japanese people are one of the hands down greatest people I've ever met. Ever. All of them. It was especially interesting working with the members because you already took these people who were so good and so kind, and they just have natural values that they uphold in their society. They're values that God encourages us to have, and it's just a part of them. They don't understand why they have those tendencies, but when you take that and you combine it with the knowledge of the gospel, like, those are the truest saints that I've ever met in my life, and they're so good and so kind. And I had members just give me things, like they gave me a rain suit. They would give us, you know, food when we were hungry. They're just so giving and such amazing people, and they're so kind, and they're so much fun. I love their sense of humor. My companions, they were all so cute. They're just adorable because they're just so sweet and innocent. There's an innocence about that culture that makes them so much fun. There were some things that drove me nuts about Japan. One of them were the trash system. The way that it worked is you have to divide your trash into like 5 different categories. And you have to keep it in your house until like the day of the week comes that is like scheduled for that kind of trash. So if you had like rotten food, you have to keep it in your house until like Wednesday. Or if you have like a bunch of like tons of bottles, glass bottles that you need to get rid of, then you have to wait till the 31st or something like that. And it just drove me up the wall. And especially like separating them, it was a pain. And I got used to it later on, but I was totally like, I value the American way of throwing things out. I throw it in my trash can, and when my trash can's full, I take it outside. And that's the end of it. So that was a really big thing that kind of was just annoying. And then I also had to go to the hospital a couple of times because I had medical problems when I was on my mission. And the medical system there was really different. It's a lot more socialist than in the United States, but it was still very clean. And I still saw, you know, the doctors at a decent enough time. It wasn't like they made me wait 24 hours or anything like that. But it was definitely different, like being in there and their technology. It's interesting because when you think of Japan, you think of like really advanced technological things, but their cities are still so classic. And like they'll still have telephone poles like above everything else, and their light system is still like old-fashioned. So it's a really interesting combination of like the values and things that they have. One of the things that I always thought was really cute is the students. So for all of the schools, no matter what one you go to, there's always a dress code. So you'll always see kids walking around in like their cute little skirts and jackets, or the pants for the boys. And even the little kids had a dress code. They were so cute. They would wear like white t-shirts and like shorts and then like a little hat. And so all these little kids would be running around in their uniforms, but they're just so cute. But school was really hard on them. And it was like they would go 5.5 days a week. Half of their Saturday they would have school. And it's like from 7 in the morning, and some kids wouldn't get home till like 5 o'clock at night. And then they would have to be studying for their classes all the time. So like school is really intensive, and it's one of the reasons that Japan has like a really high suicide rate. Its homicide rate, its crime rate is almost non-existent. I was never in danger there. Like Japan is the kind of place where you can go on the train and leave your purse and like all of your belongings there, and then call the rail master and he'll be like, yep, we found it, it's right here. And like, they're just so honest. They don't steal. Like, there's no killing. I was never in danger. I could be out until, well, not that late because we have a curfew, but I could be out till 9 o'clock in any area of Japan and just be completely safe. So that was always really cool. But it does have like a really high suicide rate, and part of the reason for that is just how intensive school is. And unless you get good grades, then you can't go to high school. And if you can't go to high school, then you can't get into a good college. And so there's like a lot of pressure on the kids that are there. We saw a really good response rate when we talked to kids, to students about the gospel. The younger generations are definitely a lot more open, and they're a lot more, I think they're looking for the truth more than some of the more their traditional parents and grandparents. So that was a pretty cool cultural